Welcome to Healthy Living, your health awareness show on Afro Worldview, the show that keeps you informed with all your health-related matters. My name is Ronald Abdji. Today, we focus on skincare treatment and challenges. Let's check out what we have in store for you on this show. We visit Portia Mngomezulu from Portia M Skincare range. We chat to a skincare expert on hormonal pigmentation, and we wrap up with an easy-to-do fitness routine. We all have a particular skincare issue we'd like to fix. We're not talking about changing the way we look, but the way our skin behaves. An oily T-zone that looks more like a mirror than a forehead come lunchtime? We've been there. Chin scars left from a nasty bout of hormonal acne. Budding entrepreneur Portia Mngomezulu shares her story about the healing and regenerative properties of marula oil. Portia, thank you so much for your time and joining us on our show.
Thank you so much for inviting me for the show. I'm really honored.
You've had a wonderful entrepreneurial journey. What led to you deciding, this is what I want to do? I want to start doing these amazing skincare products and get it out into the market.
Well, I love beauty. I love skin. I love making people look beautiful. I've always been that girl, who finds out the secret to what works for your skin, what makes your hair grow faster. So this is my passion, really. I'm doing what I love right now, and I'm seeing the product go out there and creating Portia M to be one of the biggest brands. That has been my vision and mission for a very long time, because I've always asked myself, where are all these other brands coming from? Why can't Africa have its own leading brand by an African, using African ingredients for Africans?
But is that your biggest differentiator? Because I was going to ask you, what makes your product so unique and different?
What makes it unique and different is the fact that we use the amazing marula oil, which is an indigenous African oil found in Africa with the most amazing benefits for the skin. And another differentiating factor is that this is a proudly South African product, born and bred in Africa, and mainly meant for the African climate. Of course, you can take it to the world, because whatever Africa can produce can be taken globally.
Mm-hmm. Now, when we look at this product, in order to do a product like this that affects skincare, I'm sure there's a lot of research and science that goes into it. What is that journey like, and what did you learn in the process that makes it a lot easier to give you research-based information about your product?
Firstly, I think I'm a natural-born researcher. I'm very curious, especially when it comes to ingredients and what works. And I was fortunate, to be assisted by SEDA, the Small Enterprise Development Agency, and the SABS, to test my product at Medunsa. We're also testing more on the product at the ARC, where they test the products for toxicity, whether the product causes cancer, is it safe enough? So that is very important, especially when you want to take it to retail and as well take it internationally.
I think it's important because that speaks to the credibility and the quality of what's in the bottle. Yes. Having it from Africa and by an African is one thing, but yes, having it to have that stamp of approval, yes, of all these authorizing bodies is even more so, because you're competing with global brands.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, most people ask what made us so brave to compete with global brands, but the fact of the matter is they were once more like us. We're competing with other human beings who come as brands. So it is an interesting journey, very challenging and very exciting. When I looked at my oil, which is the first product that I had, I always saw it next to a multinational brand, a very successful brand. And I'm proud to say today on the shelf, it shares the shelf with such brands. Yeah.
No, which is great. Now, when you look at this from your product perspective, did you develop different products for different skin types? Because we know that we get the black African skin, the white skin, we get the colored skin, and then of course there's a lot of Asian skin as well. Does the different types of skin impact how you develop a product and customize it, or is it agnostic across all?
When you use a herb, you are the herb is bound to work for most skin types, and which is the advantage that we took, using the marula oil, because it works on most skin types. It doesn't matter whether you're Caucasian, Indian, colored, or black. It works amazingly on all skin types.
Now we look at men and women. Because us Jitas, we're very simple, you know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of whatever's there, the Vaseline, rub it on and off we go.
Yeah.
But beauty has changed for men and for women.
Definitely.
It's no longer about having the thick makeup for women, but that also affects your skin health.
Yes.
How did you adapt your products? One is for the female market, because they're very, very, very big, but also they're very, very finicky on what works or doesn't work.
True. When we introduced the range, it was mainly a unisex range to be used by everybody. But because of the cleanliness of the product, how it looks, the white colors, men were shying away from buying it and thinking, oh, maybe it's meant for women. So we came out with the range, the lotion for men. We will extend our range as far as men are concerned, so that we have them on the bandwagon. But I must tell you, most women who use the product always say that their men steal their products, and they end up being finished because the men still use it at home, even if they don't buy it directly at the shops.
Now, when we talk skincare and your products, you mentioned the oil and the lotion that you have. We know lotions to keep the skin moist. What is the purpose of your first product being the oil?
The oil is the key and the base product, and oil does amazing things to the product. Everything has an oil base. So that was our base product, and from that we've created a range with 12 products on it. We've got a facial range, which has the face wash, toner, day cream, and night cream, and we've also added, like you said, people have different skin types. We've got now a day cream for oily skin, and we will extend our range for different types of skin. We also use the oil in all the formulation because it is the one with the most ingredients in it, yeah.
You mentioned oily skin. If someone that is not informed as to what is oily skin and what is not, or maybe I just sweat a lot, and they're looking at the shelf and they're looking at your product, but they're deciding, should I take it or not? How would you help them to identify whether their skin is oily or not?
An oily skin type of person will normally get oily around the nose and the T-zone. So you get more oily around that area. And somebody with a combination skin, they are dry in certain areas and oily in certain areas. And some people are just full-blown oily everywhere. So that would be suitable for somebody to use a product that says for oily skin. Otherwise, most people can use the one that says combination skin. That one is mainly for dry skin and for people with combination skin.
And what about this cold weather we're having? In winter, especially in the Highveld, we don't get a lot of rain, but recently we've had a few drops. But we just find that the skin gets a little bit drier, and especially on our arms, and it becomes a little bit achy.
Yeah.
So is there a particular type of regimen with your products you would advise, or is it just lather on the lotion?
We always advise on using the oil first, especially in winter. The dry air causes the skin to dry out quite quickly. So we recommend that you use the oil first as a base and you apply the lotion. We also have an amazing body cream, which is very rich in the oils and very rich in moisture. So that works very well during winter as well.
Now, if people are looking to say to themselves, you know what, I love what you're doing, I love it from Africa, the fact that it's out there and you're competing with the big brands, the fact that it's got scientific research, that is amazing. Where can they find your products? On which shelves? Where do we get it? Online? Tell us where to go.
Our product is almost everywhere. South Africa, we supply big retailers nationally. You've got it at Pick n Pay, Checkers and ShopRite. You've got it at Clicks, Game, and selected Spar stores. We also have it at Galabang Pharmacy and other independent pharmacies. In other countries, we have it in Lesotho, we have it in Botswana, Swaziland, and Namibia.
Going global.
Definitely.
What is in the pipeline for you? What's coming up next from a product perspective to look after our skin?
Create more ranges. You know, the key to the brand has been growing the brand Portia M. I know I spoke a lot about marula oil, but Africa has a lot of ingredients that needs to be explored. So because we've grown the brand, we are trying out some other ingredients, some other oils to create a bigger range to what we have now.
Is the product safe to use on kids, or do they have a different skin requirement?
Kids do have a different skin requirement. However, our oil is safe for kids. We're actually working with Pick n Pay now to release Portia M for baby under the Pick n Pay logo. So we are catering for babies as well.
Girl, from where you were and getting seed animal to help you to having a co-branded range, that is an amazing entrepreneurial journey. It speaks to the resilience that the African women have to achieve success, but still maintain authenticity and passion for what you do to help others.
Thank you so much.
You know, I know there's some Portia. I got to look at this myself. I think I need to try some products out here because this needs a lot, I think. You know what I'm saying? Bring on all the oil you have. So I'm going to become a customer because I bought into your passion. And hopefully others can try, experience results, and then move forward.
Thank you so very much.
The entrepreneurial spirit in Portia for a passion of hers to give people healthy skin is palatable. The moral of the story, use the right products for your skin type. It's now time to see what we have in store in health news.
In your health news, researchers discovered that women who drank alcohol and smoked during their pregnancies were at almost 3 times higher risk of experiencing stillbirth during the course of their pregnancies than women who did not drink. The study also discovered a link between smoking and placental insufficiency, a pregnancy complication which happens when the placenta is unable to deliver an adequate supply of nutrients and oxygen to the fetus and cannot fully support the developing baby. Hearing loss is more common than you might think. According to South African Hearing Institute, about 7.5% of South African school children suffer from varying degrees of hearing loss. Hearing is fundamental to speech and language development, learning and communication in a child. As the result of hearing loss, delays occur in the development of speech and language. Those delays then lead to a learning problem, resulting in dismal school performance. For many diabetics, one of the most dreaded aspects of managing their condition is the need to inject insulin multiple times a day. But Harvard researchers have discovered a way to deliver insulin in a pill, and it appears to work well, at least in rats. In South Africa, 7% of adults aged between 21 to 79, 3.85 million people have diabetes. A large portion of these people remain undiagnosed. According to the most recently released statistics from Stats SA, diabetes is also the second leading cause of death in South Africa. According to the World Health Organization, during Mental Illness Awareness Month this July, special emphasis will be placed on the alarmingly high rates of depression globally and locally among women who are about to give birth and those who have given birth. The high burden of postnatal depression in South Africa is likely as a result of women's exposure to a number of risk factors, which could include poverty, intimate partner violence, and the threat of HIV. Depression can affect new mothers in many different ways and can start a few months before giving birth or at any time within the first year after childbirth.
Stay tuned. After the break, we find out more about hormonal pigmentation.